Hey, it's Phil again. Welcome to our second presentation from winereads.com. I thought this next few minutes we might just look at the history of wine before we start getting into any of the more detailed things about regions, countries, grapes and all that. So there's a few little things. Wine was created thousands of years ago, somewhere in Asia. And there's evidence that by the remains of production, they were discovered 6000 BC in and around Georgia. And then evidence found in Sicily and Iran 4000 BC to 5000 BC. And then in Armenia 4100 BC. So quite a diverse area, but all coming really from Asia, Near East, Eurasia. That's where it all seems to have started in earnest. It's also thought that wine formed part of many religious ceremonies thought to be the Greeks and the Romans primarily, but also the Jewish people used it in their ceremonies also. During the 15th century, wine increased in popularity. And it was what you might say industrialized, not like we know it today as industrialized, but nevertheless it started to be produced in large batches for consumption. And we shouldn't forget that wine and beer, of course, was drank because of the non-contamination of the product, whereas water was very suspicious and could kill people in vast numbers. It's also thought that foragers looking around and looking for food discovered this nectar when fruit fermented in their vessels. So any leftover fruits or vegetables or herbs, it turned the sugar into alcohol. And then they discovered how to add alcohol to water, and so it went on. Devastating disease took hold of the grapevines in the 19th century. So it's not all been forward-looking. There's been quite a lot of mixed history about the production of wine. There's also evidence of wine fermentation in China dating to 17,000 BC. So they've got the edge, haven't they, by the looks of it? But who knows? I'm not sure whether we really know where it all started, but there you go. Serious development of wine in Armenia. And in Armenia is the oldest known winery. All of these things, you can hear about online, and we'd be more than happy to help if you sign up to information sheets. And then the Near East became awash with grapevines and wine. The book of Genesis mentions wine, so there we are. There's even for religious scholars, there is a place for wine. And it's also thought that pomegranate wine was made by the Phoenicians, which then spread to the Mediterranean area. For those who like to visit Greece, Retsina had tree resin added. Doesn't sound very good, does it? But I believe I never had Retsina, to be honest, because I've never really wanted to. But for those who like it, then you probably know where originally the taste came from, and probably the same today. True drunkenness was found in Rome when wine was introduced. I think that might explain some of their debauchery and some of their antics that we won't go into here. And as I mentioned earlier, wine, vegetables and herbs, don't forget that you can make some fantastic wines out of vegetables, herbs, flowers, anything you can think of. I've even heard someone make wine out of leather shoes, so hey, not for me. So I hope this has given you a taste about the wine and how it started and the art that it is. And if you're interested in knowing more, please join our newsletter whenever you feel like it. Don't forget, make journal notes about the wine you try. See you next time. Thanks for listening.